What if you can become wealthy beyond anything your family has ever known? What if you can build the life you've dreamed about in silence for years? What if you can live free, free from fear, from debt, from judgment, from regret? What if you can walk into any room and know you belong there? What if you can wake up with purpose so strong it silences every doubt? What if you can love who you've become because you built it yourself? What if you can win fully because you finally chose to believe that you could? I ask you now, what if you can? What if that voice inside you, the one that whispers late at night, the one that says you were made for more, what if it's not lying? What if it's the truth you've ignored for too long? I'm not here to entertain you. I am here to remind you of who you really are. I'm not here to help you get more. I'm here to wake you up to what is already within you. And if you're still here, still listening, then I ask only one thing. Do not treat this like another thing to watch. Do not let this speech pass through your ears like background noise. Do not let this be something you kind of listen to while distracted. Because if you really listen, if you pause everything else and receive these truths with your whole mind, you will leave this different. You may hear one phrase, one principle, one question that breaks you open, that makes you remember your aim, that burns away everything that's held you back. And you may also hear something that offends your comfort, that shakes your excuses, that challenges your delay. And that, my friend, is exactly why you must listen with intention, not once, but again and again, until these ideas are no longer ideas. They are identity. Ask yourself now, what if this speech contains the key to everything you've been hoping would change? What if the real reason you haven't made it is because you haven't really listened? Not with belief, not with commitment, not with urgency. So listen now, as if your future depends on it, because it does. What if you can? And what if this is the very moment you prove it? Part 1. What if you can? What if you can become the man you were born to be, not the one the world told you to settle for? What if everything you've imagined in moments of silence, wealth, greatness, mastery, purpose, is not a fantasy but a command from within? And what if the only thing separating you from it is the belief that it's not yet yours? Most men are not defeated by their enemies. They are conquered by their own doubts. They are not trapped by external forces. They are held hostage by their own conclusions. Not by bars, not by debt, not by weakness, but by thoughts repeated so often that they became the identity itself. They are prisoners of assumption. You must recognize this. Thought is the only true starting point. Every skyscraper, every law, every book, every fortune, every machine began as a thought, held with desire, affirmed by faith, executed through decision. Thought is not mere imagination. Thought is spiritual causation. What if the world you are waiting for is already waiting for you to stop doubting and start claiming? What if your disbelief is the very wall between you and the dream that already exists in potential form, waiting for your definiteness to bring it into form? The great error of drifting is to believe that thought is weak and action alone is strength. But action without thought is waste, and thought without belief is dust. You must marry thought with faith. That is when it becomes law. That is when it bends your environment. That is when it creates. There is a law that governs all of this. It is the law of autosuggestion. What you repeat to yourself with emotion, the subconscious accepts. And once accepted, it must produce results to match. The mind is obedient. It will become whatever you pour into it, especially when that pouring is daily, definite, and emotional. Let me tell you plainly, you are already auto-suggesting something to your subconscious. Every day, every hour. The only question is, what? Are you feeding it belief or fear? Are you repeating your aim or your worries? Are you affirming power or weakness? What you say to yourself is becoming you. You must speak belief aloud. You must declare morning and night, I am capable. I am decisive. I am faithful to my dream. What I believe with emotion, I bring to life. Do not whisper it. Declare it. Speak it as if it were already fact, because repetition builds belief, and belief commands reality. Thomas Edison believed in electric light before the world had ever seen it. He believed not once, not casually, but so deeply that no amount of failure, ridicule, or delay could shake it. He held the picture. He charged it with faith. He worked with decision. And what was once impossible became law. He did not possess special favor. He possessed control over thought. He built belief daily. That was his real invention, not the bulb, but the decision to believe in the unseen until it appeared. That same mechanism lives within you, but you must activate it. Not once, but continually. Do not drift. Do not wait. You are not here to be a spectator. You are here to be a creator. And creators do not hope. They believe. They do not beg. They command. They do not delay. They begin. You must stop questioning whether you are worthy and start deciding that you are. Every man who became more than history expected of him did so because he violated the limits others accepted. He questioned not the world, but himself. He asked, "What if I can?" And then, with no guarantees, he moved forward as if the answer were yes. You must ask this question daily, not with doubt, but with fierce intention. Ask it in the morning before the world speaks. Ask it when you're tired, when you failed, when you've been rejected. Ask it when fear visits your door, and then answer it with thought, with word, and with motion. Do not underestimate what can happen in 1 year of belief, 1 year of daily auto-suggestion, 1 year of focused desire, 1 year of decision followed by persistent action. It is not 10 years of hesitation that changes a life. It is 1 year of definiteness that alters destiny. I do not say this to encourage you. I say this to awaken you. The laws are already working. Either they are creating or they are destroying. Either they are reinforcing your dream or reinforcing your fears. Either they are building your new identity or protecting the old. What if you believe this truth, not just once, but repeatedly? What if you listened to this instruction daily until your mind had no room for contradiction? What if you said aloud, "I believe, I act, I persist, I succeed"? How much longer would your old life last? You were not created to drift in circles. You were not designed to wait for signs. You were not born to beg, apologize, or explain. You were born to command your inner world so that the outer world yields. You were born to think, decide, act, and become. Write it now. Speak it now. Declare it now. I am capable. I am decisive. I am faithful to my dream. What I believe with emotion, I bring to life. Repeat it until it repeats you. And when doubt arises, ask one final question. What if I can? Part 2, the prison of past thinking. What if the only thing holding you back is a memory you never questioned? What if the reason you feel unworthy is because someone else once said so, and you believed it? Most men are not living their lives. They are replaying a script handed to them by others, critics, teachers, parents, failure, and fear. You must confront this truth. The thoughts ruling your life right now may not be your own. You inherited them. You absorbed them. You adopted them from environments of small minds and fearful mouths. You took them in before you had the strength to question them, but now you must rise up and revoke them. The most dangerous thoughts are not shouted, they are repeated in silence. You're not good enough. You've always been this way. That's not for people like you. They hide behind sarcasm, behind caution, behind false humility. And each time you think them, you reinforce their chains. There are 6 invisible chains that hold men back from greatness. I have named them before, and I will name them again. The fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. They are the 6 ghosts of fear. These ghosts do not attack you with fire. They whisper doubt. They nudge your indecision. They press you to settle. to wait, to hesitate. And when they succeed, they vanish, leaving you to believe that your failure was your fault, when it was simply the product of inaction caused by inherited thought. But I tell you now with certainty, the past can be silenced. It cannot be changed, but its power can be overridden through repetition, through declaration, through thought discipline. You must build a new voice within yourself, one that drowns out the old by the force of will and daily affirmation. You must say, "My past is not my master. My thought is stronger than my history. I believe in who I choose to become." Say it until your mind accepts it, until your heart beats it, until your environment reflects it. Your new life cannot begin until your old beliefs are broken. Abraham Lincoln failed in business. He lost elections. He suffered personal tragedy. But he refused to let past failures define future possibilities. He did not accept defeat as identity. He rejected the suggestion that the past was prophecy. And in doing so, he became the man his purpose required. You must do the same. You must kill the past each morning, not with regret, but with belief. You must rise daily and declare, "I am not who I was. I am who I decide to be today." This is not fantasy. It is law. The subconscious accepts what you repeat, especially when charged with feeling. The world will not remind you of who you can become. It will remind you of who you've been. It will reinforce your failures, your doubts, your regrets. Unless you build a stronger voice within, a voice that says, "Yes, I fell, but I rise. Yes, I feared, but I act. Yes, I failed, but I persist." No one else can declare this for you. No friend, no mentor, no program. Only you. Only you can affirm the truth that must become your foundation. Only you can repeat the words that plant belief so deeply they cannot be uprooted by circumstance. So I ask you now, what if the beliefs you've carried are lies? What if the thoughts you've accepted are false debts owed to ghosts? What if you've lived beneath your potential not because of inability, but because you never fought back against what was planted in you without your consent? Write it down now. My past is not my master. My thought is stronger than my history. I believe in who I choose to become. Say it aloud. Say it with certainty. And say it again tomorrow, and the day after, until the soil of your mind accepts only your voice, not the echoes of old failure. You were not born to carry someone else's doubts. You were born to command your own belief, to hold one picture in your mind with decision and burn it into the subconscious with repetition. That is the only way to erase the old and build the new. Begin now. Speak aloud who you are becoming. Write your aim. Repeat your affirmation. Make your mind your own. Because until you do, you are not living, you are replaying. And I will ask again, what if you can? And what if you already would have, had you never accepted a thought that was never yours to begin with? Part 3. The law of possession, desire claims reality. Desire is not hope. It is not a wish. It is not a passing emotion. It is possession. The man who truly desires does not want. He already sees himself in possession of that which he seeks. He does not ask if he will receive. He claims that he already has. Desire, when it burns, transforms the future into present certainty. I say to you now, what you deeply desire, you begin to possess. That is the law. Not through fantasy, but through definiteness of thought, repetition of belief, and daily decision. No man was ever handed his purpose. He declared it. He spoke it aloud until the world responded. All achievement begins with desire, but not every desire is sufficient. Weak desire has no drawing power. It produces vague plans, timid action, and scattered energy. Weak desire leads to distraction, excuse, and delay. Strong desire, burning desire, produces power. It demands focus. It consumes lesser aims. You must choose one great aim, not 5, not many. One. Let it possess your mind, your hour, your labor, your voice. Let it interrupt your excuses. Let it shape your reading, your walking, your speaking. Let no day pass without your aim touching your thought. You cannot serve 10 gods. You cannot pursue 20 dreams and expect one to bloom. Desire requires exclusivity. The law of possession will only obey the man who clears all interference and burns his name upon one outcome. The more definite the aim, the more magnetic the force. Many men fail, not for lack of opportunity, but because they try to please everyone, serve many masters, and divide their heart. They scatter their energy into fragments and wonder why nothing forms. But desire requires fullness, mind, body, and spirit in complete submission to one purpose. I command you now, write your aim. Make it definite. Make it measurable. Make it emotional. Do not write what sounds noble. Write what you would die to possess. What you would give your time, your energy, your mind to fulfill. That is your real desire. Name it and speak it. Say aloud now. What I desire with faith and emotion, I move toward. What I move toward, I claim. What I claim becomes mine. This is not metaphor. It is law. What you speak repeatedly, the subconscious accepts. And what the subconscious accepts, the world begins to reflect. Take Edwin C. Barnes. He wanted not to work for Edison, but with him as a partner. He did not possess money. He did not possess credentials, but he possessed a definite desire. He saw himself beside Edison. He burned the image into his subconscious, and soon that desire shaped his reality. It began with a train ride. It continued with menial labor. It ended with partnership. Not because of luck, but because of possession. His desire took such hold of him that he became the man necessary to fulfill it. And that is the secret. Desire remakes the man who surrenders to it. Desire rewrites your behavior. Desire commands your energy. Desire disciplines your thoughts. It will do this only when you let it consume you. If you play with desire like a toy, you will receive crumbs. But if you serve it as a master, it will hand you its throne. Let your desire dictate your schedule. Let it dictate your company. Let it dictate your reading, your speech, your nightly review. Stop treating it as a wish. Treat it as law. When your desire becomes law, the universe obeys, not because it favors you, but because it must reflect definiteness. Picture yourself already in possession of what you desire. See it in detail. Speak it aloud. Add emotion. Do this in the morning. Do it at night. Do it before you sleep. Do it when you wake. This is not imagination. It is programming. And what is programmed becomes real. Write your aim in large letters. Post it where your eyes cannot avoid it. Say it aloud until your voice changes, until your posture shifts, until your breath deepens, until your faith outruns your doubt, until others recognize your certainty even before you speak. The man who believes he possesses acts differently. He walks with steadiness. He works with clarity. He speaks with conviction. He does not wonder if the door will open. He prepares the table, for he knows the guest is coming. This is possession. This is faith in motion. Do not wait to feel ready. Do not wait to feel deserving. Desire is the permission. Obedience is the path. Speak your aim and take the next step. Before proof, before approval, before applause. Most men wait. You must become. You must move as one who already owns the outcome. And if you doubt, say again, what I desire with faith and emotion, I move toward. What I move toward, I claim. What I claim becomes mine. Say it, write it, believe it, and prove it. Because once you possess the thought, the rest is only time. Part 4, faith is the bridge between thought and result. Thought is the starting point, but it is not enough. Action moves the body. Desire moves the will. But only faith transfers the dream from the invisible into the seen. Faith is the bridge. It is the medium by which all invisible substance becomes form. And without it, nothing is created, only imagined and abandoned. Faith is not hope. Faith is not waiting. Faith is not passively accepting fate. Faith is active belief held with emotion and reinforced by repetition. It is a decision to believe in that which is not yet visible. And it is this decision that gives power to thought, movement to desire, and energy to plans. Faith is a state of mind which may be induced by autosuggestion. You do not wait for faith to arrive. You create it. You speak it into being. You write it until it shapes your mind. You move in accordance with it. And in time, the world must reflect it. The man who waits to believe until others agree never believes at all. His mind is ruled by appearance, but the man of faith builds a world within before the world without can see it. He does not wait for signs. His belief is the sign. His certainty becomes the cause of what others call luck. If you are to achieve anything great, faith must become your daily condition. It must live in your breath, in your walk, in your decisions. And you build it by speaking aloud what you have chosen to believe, not once, but continually, with feeling, until the voice within silences all doubt. You must say, I believe in my aim. I believe in my ability. I believe that through persistent faith, I can do all I am called to do. This is not motivation. It is programming. It is identity sculpted through language, charged with feeling, and repeated until it is realer than the facts around you. Henry Ford was laughed at. He believed he could build an affordable automobile for every man. And when experts told him it was impossible, he did not retreat. He decided again. His faith was not shaken by opinion. His faith reshaped the industry, and what began as thought became transportation for the world. This is how faith works. It does not ask. It commands. It does not tremble in the face of resistance. It rises, because faith does not require approval. It requires repetition. The subconscious mind is the soil, and faith is the root. And what is planted with conviction grows with precision. You must guard your faith like a fortress. Do not entertain seeds of doubt. One suggestion of failure, repeated often enough, can undo weeks of belief. Speak only that which reinforces your dream. Associate only with those who multiply your certainty. Read only that which strengthens your conviction. You must read your chief aim aloud daily, not as ritual, but as identity building. You must hear your own voice command your future, and you must act in accordance with that command. Speak it until your mind bows in submission. Speak it until your actions rise in agreement. The subconscious does not argue, it obeys. It does not resist repetition, it reflects it. Every word charged with emotion and repeated with faith becomes an instruction. If you say, I can, the mind prepares. If you say, I will, the mind proceeds. If you say, it is done, the mind acts as if it is. Doubt is the silent killer of all desire. It does not arrive as an enemy. It sneaks in as logic, as delay, as self-preservation. But make no mistake, doubt will rot every aim. Doubt repeated becomes belief, and belief in failure is as powerful as belief in triumph. Both produce results. You must answer doubt with decision. You must flood your inner world with truth until no space remains for contradiction. And the truth is this: whatever you believe with intensity and act upon with persistence becomes real. That is not optimism, that is law. If your faith wavers, return to your repetition. Read again, speak again, write again, affirm again. Faith is not a moment, it is a habit. Built through emotional repetition, preserved through guarded speech, and proven through daily movement. And once installed, it becomes unstoppable. Lincoln had every reason to quit. He failed in business, lost his loved ones, was defeated politically time and again, but he held to a belief stronger than his suffering. He did not allow present defeat to erase future destiny. His faith became leadership. His faith became freedom for others. Do not measure your dream by current results. Measure it by the clarity of your belief. Do not measure your identity by what the world reflects. Measure it by what you say to yourself daily, by the thoughts you permit and the actions you take in spite of opposition. Say this now with full breath. I believe in my aim. I believe in my ability. I believe that through persistent faith, I can do all I am called to do. Say it in the morning. Say it when the doubt whispers. Say it when fear rises. Say it before you act. Say it until your life matches the sound of your words. Because faith is not just the bridge between thought and result. It is the only bridge, and you build it, not with bricks, but with belief spoken aloud, written with fire, and acted upon daily until the invisible becomes seen. Part 5. Organized planning is the language of faith. Faith without a plan is not faith. It is fantasy. The man who truly believes does not simply speak. He builds. He does not wait. He arranges. He does not wish. He organizes. Planning is not the opposite of faith. It is its proof. It is how belief speaks in the world of form, motion, and consequence. You say you believe in your aim, then show it. Write the steps. Mark the calendar. Break down the path. Decide what must be done each day. Let your pen become the evidence of your conviction, because until your aim becomes a plan, your belief has no feet. Organized planning is one of the indispensable principles of success. Dreams without a plan are scattered clouds, but dreams with a clear path become wind and fire. And that fire consumes all resistance if it is fed by persistence and clarity. Every night, take your aim and review it. Ask, what step did I take today? What adjustment is required? What will I do tomorrow? This is how men build empires, not in a day, but in decisions made before sleep and affirmed at dawn. Planning is the daily sharpening of your aim. Charles M. Schwab was not a man of fortune at birth. He rose in Carnegie's empire by translating vision into strategy. He understood steel, but more than that, he understood motion. Every plan became movement. Every idea became a directive. That is what made him indispensable. You must become that man. You must become dangerous with clarity. Your dream must be broken down into hours, into pages, into tasks. You must know what success looks like, not just in vision, but in movement. Planning is how you convert the unseen into the seen, one line at a time. The man who drifts does not plan. He reacts. He forgets. He guesses. But the man of faith prepares. He knows what he's after, and he proves it by ordering his life around it. He prepares his day like a general before battle, not by force but by forethought. Do not wait for life to make sense. Life bends for the man who bends himself into order. Get your aim on paper, list your resources, write your deadlines, track your progress, adjust your course. Planning is the rhythm of faith in motion. Do not confuse flexibility with vagueness. Plans can adapt, but they must exist. Your definite chief aim must become definite in time, energy, focus, and action. And the more you refine it, the more the mind obeys, the more the world aligns. Faith walks in boots. It doesn't sit in corners. It doesn't wait for applause. It moves. And the first step is always to define what to do. A man with a plan wakes up with reason, and reason fuels repetition, and repetition builds results. Your plan must serve your belief, not distract from it. It must be built in service of one aim, not many. Simplicity is power. Specificity is force. Know what your next 3 steps are. Know what is not a step. Know what to say no to and why. Every morning, review your plan. Do not trust memory. Trust what you've written. The subconscious responds with more intensity when the goal is precise and the action is clear. When vague desires become precise instructions, the inner world awakens. And if the plan fails, adjust it. Do not abandon your dream. Change the method, not the mission. Remember, all success is built upon error and correction, but that requires tracking. You must measure progress, not feelings, results, not moods. Speak this aloud. My belief moves through my pen. My purpose lives on my page. My plan is my proof. I act because I believe. Say it again. Say it until your hands move, until your calendar reflects your desire, until your day becomes your proof of faith, because the man who truly believes plans, and the man who plans with faith achieves. Part 6, environment, the soil of your belief. The soil in which you plant your belief matters. You cannot grow a mighty oak in poisoned ground, nor can you grow a great life in the presence of weak voices, fearful minds, and drifting souls. Your environment is not a backdrop, it is a mirror. It reflects, reinforces, or rejects your belief. The subconscious mind accepts what is repeated and what surrounds it. You may write your aim, you may speak your affirmations, but if the voices around you contradict your dream, they will chip away at your belief like steady rain on stone. And over time, even your certainty will erode. You must understand the law. The subconscious is always listening, not just to you, but to everyone you allow near. It hears the jokes they make about success. It hears their complaints about the rich. It hears their fear, their excuses, their drift. And if you hear it often enough, it becomes your belief. The minds you associate with either lift you or lower you. When two or more people align in harmony around a definite aim, their combined thought multiplies power. When you align with the aimless, their confusion becomes your direction. You must choose your company like you choose your food, carefully and with purpose. Do not consume poisoned words. Do not feast on defeatist language. Do not drink from the wells of cynicism. One conversation can set your mind back a week. One scoff can unwrite a page of affirmations. Edison, Ford, and Firestone understood this. They met regularly to speak of vision, enterprise, and progress. They formed a circle of belief, a furnace where dreams were fed, not extinguished. That was no accident. That was law in motion. Their environment was designed for elevation. What of yours? Does it lift or weaken you? Does it speak of power or limitation? Does it celebrate growth or mock discipline? You must ask these questions with boldness, because your aim is sacred, and anything that dulls it must go. Anything that questions it must be silenced. This is not cruelty. This is necessity. Your dream cannot survive long in a garden of weeds, and weeds do not ask permission. They grow fast. They spread wide, and if you do not pull them with firmness, they overtake the fruit, and all your labor is lost. Command, remove the toxic, limit the casual, starve the aimless, surround yourself with words, books, and men who speak belief. Create an environment that reflects your outcome. Build a life that mirrors the man you are becoming, not the man the past expects you to be. Fill your mind with voices of discipline, with language of purpose, with conversation that sharpens, not softens. Let your home, your desk, your schedule, your friends, all point to your definite chief aim. Let nothing remain that contradicts it, not one word, not one habit, not one voice. Speak this daily. I choose my company. I guard my mind. I dwell in belief. I grow in purpose. I rise with power. Say it when doubt whispers through the mouths of others. Say it when the old crowd returns. Say it when comfort calls. Say it until silence grows louder than fear. And if you find yourself surrounded by what weakens you, change the room. If you cannot leave, outnumber it with input. Read more than they speak. Write more than they doubt. Listen to truth more than they talk of fear. Build your own mastermind, even if at first it is only you and a book. You are not obligated to shrink for those who refuse to grow. You are not required to explain your new standards. You are not bound to keep company with those who resent your rising. You must protect your aim as a soldier protects his post, with vigilance, with courage, with non-negotiable clarity. If your subconscious is the soil, your environment is the weather. You may plant strong seeds, but storms of sarcasm, droughts of purpose, and floods of failure talk will drown them. Control the climate. Command the tone. Do not apologize for walking away from noise. Say again, I choose my company. I guard my mind. I dwell in belief. I grow in purpose. I rise with power. Because no man becomes great alone, but every great man chooses his circle. And now it is your turn. Part 7. The power of immediate action. There is one principle that separates the dreamer from the achiever. It is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is not timing. It is action. And not action delayed or perfectly prepared, but immediate, definite, often imperfect, but executed without hesitation. That is the power that turns belief into results. Too many men wait. They say, when I have more time, when I'm ready, when the moment is right. But understand this, the right moment is now. The man who believes moves. He does not wait to be certain. He decides to be certain. Action is how belief proves itself worthy of reward. Decision is the spark, but action is the flame. Without movement, all your planning, affirming, visualizing, and speaking is left to rot on the shelf of good intentions. Nothing is attracted to stillness. Nothing responds to passivity. The world rewards the man in motion. Your dream is not waiting for the perfect version of you. It is waiting for the committed version of you, the one who takes the next step even while trembling, the one who acts while doubting, the one who does not delay until the fear goes away, but uses action to defeat it. Consider this. Every time you postpone, you train your mind to hesitate. You reinforce inaction. You normalize stagnation. But every act, no matter how small, creates movement. And movement builds momentum. And momentum builds belief. And belief gives birth to achievement. Rockefeller did not begin as a millionaire. He started as a clerk. But he moved, he saved, he studied, he negotiated. He walked into rooms without titles. He acted while others planned. He showed up before others believed. And because he moved, doors opened. Because he acted, fortune appeared. This is the law. Action magnetizes opportunity. The man who moves is met with motion. The man who stands still is forgotten. Ideas visit those in action. People trust those in motion. Life gives to those who demand with their deeds, not just their thoughts. You must take immediate action toward your aim every day, not when you feel like it, not when conditions are ideal, but daily, relentlessly. That action may be writing, it may be selling, it may be reading, it may be building, but it must be done, not just imagined. You will never be ready. You will never know enough. You will never be applauded at the beginning. But if you act anyway, if you move despite uncertainty, you separate yourself from 99 out of 100, because most men only move when it is easy. You must move when it is required. Write your aim, plan your path, and then act. Act without apology. Act without perfection. Act without needing others to understand, because it is your action, not their opinion, that will determine your outcome. Say this aloud. I move without fear. I act without apology. I build momentum with motion. I attract success through steps taken today. Say it with energy. Say it while moving. Say it after completing your task. Say it when your mind says tomorrow. And then move anyway. Because action is the proof of faith. Action is the builder of belief. Action is the only thing that the world cannot ignore. You can speak all day, but what you do will echo longer than what you say. So build that echo with deliberate steps. Track your actions. Each day, write what you did. Do not lie to yourself. Your progress is not in your plans, it is in your steps. And if the steps are small, take more of them. If they are uncertain, take them more often, but take them always. The man who fails to act lives in regret. He watches others move past him and tells himself stories about why it wasn't time. But the man who acts lives in momentum. Even when he fails, he learns. Even when he's doubted, he discovers. And every step becomes a signal to his subconscious. I am serious. This is how identity is built, not through theory, but through repetition of action. You become the man who writes, who calls, who shows up, who moves without asking permission, who takes the step and builds the next. And soon you are unrecognizable to the man you once were. Say again, I move without fear. I act without apology. I build momentum with motion. I attract success through steps taken today. Because action, immediate, definite, repeated, is not optional. It is the requirement, and the time is not later. The time is now. Part 8. The man who believes becomes the man who achieves. The man you will become is hidden in the repetition of today, not in the greatness of a single act, but in the faith you repeat, the aim you review, the action you take daily. Repetition is the chisel that shapes identity. Belief is not a flicker of inspiration. It is a program installed line by line, day by day, until the subconscious bows in obedience. Let me speak to you plainly now. There is no secret beyond this. What you do daily, you become permanently. What you speak often, you believe deeply. What you think most, you attract. And what you repeat with faith and action, you make real. This is the foundation of all lasting achievement. Do not marvel at great men. Study what they did every day. You will find not miracles, but habits. Not genius, but repetition. Edison read daily. Carnegie reviewed his aim constantly. Rockefeller wrote in his ledger every hour. Lincoln returned to his vision despite defeat. They all moved forward through faith, planning, and daily discipline. Now I ask you, have you written your aim? Have you repeated it aloud, morning and night? Have you spoken belief into yourself even when the world showed you no evidence? Have you taken action daily, even when you were tired, uncertain, or afraid? If your answer is yes, then continue. Sharpen the edge, deepen the belief, multiply the action. If your answer is no, do not despair, but begin. Begin again. Begin today. Begin now. Return to part 1. Listen again. Write it down. Repeat it. Speak it. Move with it. This is not a one-time lesson. This is the curriculum of destiny, and it demands repetition. You cannot expect a single hearing to break a lifetime of fear. You cannot expect one affirmation to rewrite 10 years of doubt. But you can expect transformation through consistent exposure to truth. I say to you, listen to this message daily, not as entertainment, but as reprogramming. You must bathe the mind in truth until truth becomes default, until the voice of purpose is louder than the voice of fear, until action becomes instinct, until belief becomes your natural condition. What if you did? What if you gave yourself 90 days of repetition, of belief spoken aloud, of aims reviewed daily, of planning each night, of eliminating all weak input, of acting every morning? Do you not think your life would change? Do you not believe your identity would rise? Of course it would, because the law is always working. It does not rest. It reflects what you repeat, whether it be truth or fear, discipline or doubt, decision or drifting. You are always programming yourself. The only question is, what are you installing? Say this now. I think success, I speak purpose, I act with faith, I do not drift, I live in decision, I rise in discipline, I become all I am called to be. This is not poetry, this is identity, spoken, repeated, reinforced, and lived. You are not here to sample greatness. You are here to install it. You are not here to visit your potential. You are here to inhabit it. You are not here to wait and wish. You are here to write, speak, act, and repeat until what they called impossible becomes your daily experience. Say again, I think success, I speak purpose, I act with faith, I do not drift, I live in decision, I rise in discipline, I become all I am called to be. Say it as many times as it takes, because one day it will not be something you repeat. It will be something you are. You now know the truth. You now hold the laws. You have been reminded of the principles that build kingdoms: desire, faith, autosuggestion, planning, decision, persistence, environment, action, and above all, repetition. Let none of these be words only. Let them be habits. Let them be laws. Let them be the daily ground on which you stand, because the man who believes becomes the man who achieves, and the man who achieves does so, not because of brilliance, luck, or applause, but because he repeats the right thoughts, takes the right steps, and moves with right belief daily, until the world bends to match the picture in his mind. You are that man. You must decide to be, and decide again tomorrow, and the next day, and for as long as it takes. Until there is no difference between what you say and what you see, this is the law, and it works. The only question is, will you work it? Say again, I become all I am called to be. Then listen again and prove it.